Hi everyone, today we will review when to use the preterit and the imperfect in Spanish. ¿Cuándo se usan? When do we use them? So for the preterit, we use it when we're talking about something very specific in time or a series of events. Something that has been completed. Usually when you're answering the question, ¿Qué pasó? What happened? When did it happen? Or when did it start? When did it end? Cuando empezó? Cuando terminó? We use pretérito. El imperfecto, instead, we use it to something like more continuous, habit, description, something that was still happening or is still happening, ongoing action, we use imperfect. So, ¿cómo era? How was it? ¿Qué hacía? What was he doing? What was she doing? So if you think about the timeline, you have this long timeline where something like sudden happened, a specific point, preterit. When something is long and it's really hard to pinpoint where, then we use imperfecto. So like think about when you're talking about when you were a kid, you will use imperfect. But then when you're talking about when you were a kid at a specific point in time, you will use preterit. So let's look in the specific. We use preterit for a single completed action, for sequences of completed actions, or for the start and end of the action. You will often see used with something like ayer, hace, de repente, finalmente. I'm gonna give you some examples. Anoche terminé el proyecto. Last night, I finished the project. There is a specific time in time when I finished the project. A las 10 de la mañana en punto, comenzó la reunión. It started at 10 o'clock. It didn't start at certain point during the day. Primero, llamé y luego envié el correo. So here we have a sequence of completed action. And then instead, for imperfecto, we can use it to describe people, things, context, background information, and use verbs like era, estaba, tenía, de niño, de joven. So when he was a kid, when he was young, it was, he was. Hábito, a menudo. So those are habitual action that we used to do. Always. Usually, I used to do this. So think about I used to do imperfect. Also for actions in progress. So think about if you can say I was in English, most likely you're going to need imperfect. And in this case, you might see mientras, cuando. And I'm going to give you some examples. Mi abuela era muy paciente y tenía buen humor. So here I'm talking about how my grandma was. Another example, de niño, leía cómics todas las tardes. When I was a kid, I used to read comics every afternoons. And now two comparison examples. Cuando, we use cuando más pretérito when we're talking about an action that is interrupting another action in progress. Instead, when we have mientras, we use mientras and imperfect when those actions are happening at the same time. So, examples with cuando, yo estudiaba, so I was studying, action in progress, imperfect. Cuando, mi amiga me llamó, so while I was studying, ing form, imperfect, my friend called me. At that specific time, I received a call. And then we have the other example. Mientras yo cocinaba, mi hermana ponía la mesa. While I was cooking, my sister was preparing the table. Two actions ongoing, happening at the same time. And last, let's practice. Preterit or imperfect. Here we have three sentences, verbs in parentheses. You have to read the sentence and based on the context, pick preterit or imperfect. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to show you the answers. Vimos, de pequeño íbamos, de repente el viento abrió la ventana. Bye.